Hi, I'm Patricia Lee. Welcome. Today is April 7th, 2018. It's an extremely auspicious date. And a year ago, this is the anniversary of a trip that I took to Taiwan, a spiritual excursion with Mastery Academy and Joey Yap. I posted some photos on Facebook, and there was a lot of inquiries as to why, what happened and why this was so special. And so I'm going to make that available to you and share the experience that we had. I'm going to first enter my screen. So what we did is this was a spiritual excursion to a number of temples in Taiwan, and day one, this is day one, the most important visit, and the temple was called the Seven Star Temple, which is dedicated to the Seven Star Path Walk, which many of you have heard about. And this is the place where you go to get in touch with the frequency and the energies to be able to manifest the things that are your goals in life and to have a spiritual experience, and can be very enlightening or whatever you want to make of it. This temple was named by a very famous Taoist. His name was Wang Yuan, and he called this, there's a very special formation in the area, and he named this formation Lao Jun Shan. This is one of the reasons, the mountain formation is one of the reasons this temple is so strong. There's a meridian spot here, and what a meridian spot is a concentration of energy and force that adds to a place, and there are many meridian spots in the world, but where they exist really translates to making things happen in life that are spectacular and sometimes to the miraculous. So this meridian spot and this formation, I want to show you what it looks like. So you will hear oftentimes Chinese talk about the dragons and the dragon veins. And so the dragons are actually literally the mountains, and the veins are the ranges which come down from the mountain, as in this picture here, and come down and down these the smaller mountain ranges. And there's three in this picture. This one in the middle comes down, and you find the temple right here. And this particular shape here is called the Meridian Mountain, and it ends up coming down and hugging the temple. And if you're standing on the inside looking out, this is the right embrace and this is the left embrace. So the mountain ends up hugging or embracing this particular spot. And whenever you have a meridian spot, you need an embrace. And so this has the embrace and the capacity for locking in the Qi, because that's what the purpose of the embrace does. This is another side of the picture where shows you the Great Ancestor Mountain is right here. And whenever you see Great Ancestor Mountain, you will see 4 layers of ranges of other mountains. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. And in this shot, you can see where the mountain range comes and forms the Meridian Mountain in the Meridian spot. These are aerial shots that Mastery Academy provided us in the class, and usually you can't see these things because you're on the ground. And the advantage of studying with Mastery Academy is that they provide these, they have technology, the modern technology in these drones. Joey had them take these pictures so that we could see what it is he's talking about. You know, a lot of us have been in the classrooms and we studied these formations, but sometimes they don't make sense, and you can't see or translate what it looks like in reality. So this is the type of stuff we used to study in the classes. I don't know if you remember, but some of you have seen this. So this is a horizontal formation, and it is this particular kind of the range of the mountains that creates this very spiritual place. This is the Grandfather Mountain, and these are the Great Ancestor Mountain, and these are the 2 arms or the embrace of the entire vicinity, the larger area. And the 4 other mountains are 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this particular one is the Meridian Mountain and the Meridian spot. So imagine in the old days, we would study this. How would you see this in a landform? And the only way you could see, you'd have to walk and you'd have to imagine in your mind how this would look in a real life situation. And it's very difficult to learn and understand. So the advantage of seeing this is you can understand what it looks like and what you're actually looking for. Here's a shot of that same vein right behind the Meridian Mountain. The dragon vein is essentially the chi that comes off of the mountain and comes down and forms these formations, and the concentration of the energy in any particular spot. This is the Meridian Mountain because it hugs the Meridian spot, which is below here. And in the Chinese feng shui, the mountains are the highest peaks that connect to the heavens, and that interaction between the two create the formations in every area of the world. And in this particular case, this is creating mountains that create a spiritual quality to the place. This is the temple, and this is the meridian spot, and this is the embrace around the Meridian Mountain. It's very simple and plain, but you cannot imagine how strong the energy field was there, and you could literally feel it. And I said that meridian spots, they are created by two landforms you need. One is the mountain range, the dragon veins, because that is what creates the chi, and then the waters which come from the mountains, and they come down and they will somewhere converge. And at that convergence point is usually what we call the Qi Mao, and it's right here. It's a convergence of two waters pathways, and if you look at these roadways they mirror the shape of the water. This is the larger view, the same as that composite drawing. It shows you a huge aerial shot of how the mountain range creates an embrace within the area. So the mountain range comes along here. The Great Ancestor Mountain is here. And you will see here, this is the temple and the Meridian Mountain and the Meridian spot right here. So imagine, how can you see this without a drone shot? So for me, it was a huge learning experience that I had not had the opportunity to learn in the past when I'm looking at the books or looking at these pictures. This is a picture of the Ancestor Mountain, and you will see it starts to form layers and ranges as it descends down. And one of the things I learned was, I was wondering, why was our experience so powerful, and why was it manifest and so much greater, and it was more dynamic and quicker and faster, and the outcomes were more pronounced and more profound. So I realized afterwards that what was happening was a convergence of the heaven, earth, and man. The earth part is the meridian spot, the range of mountains, and the using the land itself. The heaven part is the timing, the time we went, and it means that the concentration of chi at a certain point becomes much stronger. And so here we are. This is the hour chart. We arrived between 9 and 11 a.m. And this chart shows you that there's the 9 heavens here. The most powerful part of this chart is in the South Palace. This is the South Palace. You see the S for South. And in a Qi Men Dun Jia chart, the two most powerful deities for what it is we were trying to do is the 9 heavens and the chief. And those two are here. And this is a level 7 9 heavens. This is a clear shot of that. This is the South Palace, the 7 stars, and the 9 heavens. So this meant that the area of the south of this temple was quite concentrated chi. We were also given a day chart, and this is the day chart of April 7th. It was a wood rat day at Jiazi, and if those of you who have studied Chinese metaphysics, Jiazi is the transition point to a whole cycle of 60 days, and those 60 days are connected to the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching. And this particular date, you will see there's a level 7 chief here. So now we had a meridian spot and a 2 charts, the timing of the day and the hour with a 7-star chief and a 7-star 9 heaven. So now we have heaven and earth. So this is heaven and earth converging, and the last part is man, and that's what the ceremony that we did. At the entryway to many temples, you will see these kinds of gates. And the gate is a like an entry point pulling in the chi from the vicinity. They are literally calculated down to a degree using the Chinese compass. And here you see the gate, and here you see the foundation of the gate, and you see it's at an angle. It's not parallel to here. And the reason is because they specifically are trying to tap into a certain kind of chi, which is then connected to the mountains, and then they pull in that chi into the vicinity and create this supercharged force field. And sorry, this is Beth, my friend Beth, and Pamela, and my friend Gary. Gary teaches at Mastery Academy, and Pam and Beth are my friends from the United States. They took this measurement, and this is what they found. It's the building face the South 1 sector, and you will find that many temples we learned are made and constructed so they face the southern direction, because that is where for spiritual qualities to face south is then makes that temple stronger in that kind of capacity. Here is the water that wraps around the temple. This is the where the temple is right above here. So you have to capture the chi of the mountain as well as the water. This is the very colorful entryway into the temple. It's the first layer. You will see this quite common images in Chinese temples. They're very colorful. This is layer number 2. And these are some of the prayer the prayer items that they use. Here we are all looking for ourselves these yellow pieces of paper. Prior to arriving here, we had to give our name, our address, our date of birth, and if you had a business, you named the business, because this was going to be a second part of the ceremony. One would be the 7-star path walk, and this was going to be the 7-star lamp part of the ceremony. And this is what the 7 lamps look like. These are all pieces of paper that represents each person on the tour, and there were 120 of us, so this was over 800 lamps. And because it was so many, normally you would light the lamp yourself, but because of so many, the people at the temple lit these for us during our Sage Path walk. This is the Taoist priest that initiated the ceremony, and these Taoist priests, they cultivate themselves over decades to be able to have in their own selves the ability and the power to help manifest the changes and the realities that you would want. So it's they're very powerful individuals. These are the lamps, and this is coming to the part of the ceremony where you make your prayers, and this is Joey and his very good friend and his brother initiating the prayer part. This is my son and my friend Kathleen Zemansky doing their prayers. This is Vivian Ng. Many of you know her. She's a very committed student of Mastery Academy and also a very highly respected consultant in Singapore. This is Connie Sanchez. She's from Mexico. She is also one of the more successful consultants that has come out of Mastery Academy. This is the lamps getting ready to be lit. After this part of the ceremony, the prayer part, we all exited to where the 7-star path was. We were going to walk the 7-star path. These are my good friends, Kathleen, Pamela, who's also my partner, and we teach together. My friend, my son Demetrius, and friends Terry McBride and Beth, Grace, and Joey. So outside, Joey's explaining to us, he's giving us the education part about why this area is powerful and explaining the land formations and how it's creating the Qi in this area between the mountains and the waterways. And so we walked where we could see what it is that was shown in the aerial shots. This is the 7 lamps that will be lit, and we will walk that path. The Taoist priest, again, he's initiating this part of the ceremony of the 7-star path, and there's always candles and prayer papers that are burned to initiate the ceremony. And here you can see the 7 lamps. They've been used many times, as you can see. This is the shape of it mirrors the Dipper star, the 7 stars of the Dipper, and this is the ladle part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because there's 7 points on the Big Dipper, and these are laid out in that shape, and we will walk that path, and they end at the south point because it mirrors that chart that you saw where the 7 stars is in the southern part, and it, along with the 9 heavens, when you do the path, you're supposed to walk in the direction of the 7 stars, and you end at the point of the 7 stars. Joey's showing us what we're going to do. And after we finish, these are the lamps. They're all lit, all 800 plus. And what was amazing was you could feel the heat. You could feel the energy and the Qi of the place. There was a lot of smoke at one point with a lot of incense, and between that and the heat, it really filled the place and all of us with a very strong sense of presence. Quite magnificent and interesting. These little lines here mirror the trigrams of the 64 hexagrams. When you look at this, if you can imagine the amount of heat in this very small space that it created. And here's the pieces of paper expressing each of us. And we were able to make our prayers after the 7-star path. Here, my son and I are lighting this candle. Lighting our incense, and we're going to make another prayer. And I have to say, one of the best parts of this trip was being able to go there with my son. It has changed our relationship and added a quality to it that we've never had, and it's very, very special. So if you go to the any of these spiritual excursions, I very much encourage you to bring your family members and people you want to have a very strong connection with. And that connection will always be with us forever. This is Elena Storm, a good friend, lighting her incense. This is my son and I. Afterwards, you have the ability to burn some incense papers for additional prayers, which we did. This is the interior of the farthest interior of the temple, and this is where the whole ceremony was initiated by the Taoist priest. The temple here shows the waterway right out in front, and usually you want the structure that you build somewhere near the water. This is my favorite, Kuan Yin. I have her all over my house. She's the goddess of compassion, and you will know that many Chinese have her inside their homes. And here we are. You can see our faces, how special this is. This is my friends Connie, Sonia, Kathleen, Anita, Pamela, and my son. So I want to show you what the ceremony looked like. This is the priest initiating the blessing for the land at the 7-star path. I want to show you what it's like to do the path. This is a video someone took of me and shared it with me afterwards. Each one of us had this done for us. So this is the Taoist priest blessing us individually. They shut your third eye. He sees that I have a jade lavender pendant of Kuan Yin, and he asks me to pull it out so he can bless it. Now I'm going to walk the path, but my guide has left, and I don't know exactly where to start.
Right side.
I should know because I've
Mom,
done this
go to the
before.
right.
So my son's trying to guide me. So what I learned was it was quite special. It was very unique, and what was amazing about it is that many of the people had their wishes answered almost immediately, some within hours and some within the next day. And I experienced this myself. And then when I came home, there were some huge things I asked for that happened. There was also, it followed within the whole year because some of the things I asked for would take time. So here's where the man part comes in. You know, we talk about heaven and earth, and when it converges in the man part, so you do the ceremony. Well, you can make wishes and stuff, but they will come true when you have done the work. And it's a law of equivalent exchange. You have to, what you want, you have to give something for. So many of the people who got their, what they manifested was they had been working on these projects and these things that they were wishing for. And so at this point, it allowed them to make it and make the convergence of heaven, earth, and man. So if you want to go, you can go, or you can wait for another excursion. That may be a while, so you can go. And I have here the location of this place. This is the address. You can take it down and go there yourself. And I wanted to show you, if you go, there's a couple things you should do. One, wear comfortable clothes because you'll do some walking. You want to see the place, bring your camera, and write out your wishes, because we wrote out our wishes and you can actually burn them there, and you can talk to the people at the temple and schedule a 7-star path walk and the lamp burning. And then when you do it, you make your prayers and you burn your wishes. And one of the biggest things I found is that if you want to have the maximum experience, look at the Qi Men Dun Jia charts available and find the greatest potential you have for that day. In this particular case, it happened to be a Jiatsi day, which I spoke about. And in those of us who study Qi Men Dun Jia, you know that if a date has the 3 primary doors of the Qi Men, which are life, rest, and open, it makes the day much more stronger. Here you see life, rest, and open. This is the chart again. And so if you can find a good date, a jatsu if you can, because that only happens every 60 days, and you look for a 7-star, 9 heavens, or chi at the time of your arrival, and then it will make your action and your ceremony much, much more powerful. So I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope that you learned something and you make it to this temple, because you will be absolutely, truly amazed at what can happen for you. Thank you.